From Mumbai University, I welcome all of you TYBA BSc Geography student. The topic number second, natural resources, as a part B, part 2. Okay, we have seen in a part A what is meant by natural resources, and we have seen how the water is a natural resources. So some second parts with related to water resources that we are going to see here. So the point is change of the pH of the water. Okay, the sulfate particulars from the acid rain changes the pH of the water. Thus the water become more acidic and damages the health of marine life in a rivers, lake, that the containments, so an increase in the number of mortality with an environment is an observed. Okay, so next one is penetration of the sunlight hearing. So that is the suspected particular hints penetration of the sunlight is an water and dispute of the growing of photosystem synthetic plants and microorganism. This has been subsequent effects on the rest of the aquatic community, the depth on those organism to the survival. The must one is that OVERUSE and MISUSE of the water. Okay. So fill of water tables. Fill of water tables is another environment effect of water when there are uncontrolled rate of the groundwater withdrawal from aquifers. These are the remarkable faster than the nature rates of recharge. Without groundwater to refill our surface water, when we would have no hydrological system at all. In some regions of USA from 1950 in 1990, water table has fell by more than 3 millions due to this human wasted salt. And there are the hazards wasted and common pollution on groundwaters. So salt accommodations in a dam. The salt accommodation in the dam may be regretted as a more environmental effect on water. Dams were built in increase and quantity of the available water over times and capability of the dams redirect, as I said, accumulatively behind them. And an essential 1% of the storage capacity of the world dams is the last each year balance of salt accommodation. Then the conversion of waters. Water is essential requirement for many things in our plants, such as the growth of food, maintaining the overseas chains, power generation to the control fire, and most importance to stay alive. Therefore the conservation of water is very important and necessary. If refers to reduction in use of water, including all the policies strengthens as activities to sustainability manage the nature resources of the fresh water. It's aim to protect the hydrosphere along with the meet the current and further human demand. Redirecting use of water not only save money but also benefits some man features. Okay, then some steps towards the conservation of water resources, that is rainwater harvesting. Rainwater harvesting, that we know well. Rainwater harvesting refers to the all accommodation and depositions of the rainwater to reuse on the site. Rather, they are allowing it to do rainwater can be controlled, collected from the rivers of roofs, or roofs. In many places, the water collected in a redirect to the deep pit well shifted on the beholes or a reservoir with the precautions. Sometimes water is collected from the draw or a fog with the needs of or the other tools. Harvested water is used to grandets, livestock irrigation, domestic purpose with the proper treatment, and indoor harvesting of the houses, etc. The water can be also used or a drinking water, longer terms, shorter, and for other purpose such as a groundwater recharge. Then watershed management. Watershed management reflects to an effective conservation of a soil and water resources for the sustainable production, which minimum non-point resources polluted and lost. It is a study of the relevant characteristics of a watershed that's aim at the sustainable distribution of the resources, and the process of creating and implementing plans, programs, and projects of the sustainable enhance watershed functions that affect the plants, animals, and human communities with the watershed boundaries. Further of the watersheds that agencies seeks to manage, including water supply, water quality, drainage, storm, water roof, runoff, water rights, and overall planning and utilization of watersheds. Landowners, land and agencies, storm water management expertise, environment specialized water are surveyor and communities all plays an integral parts in the watershed management. Then the control pollution. Water pollution on the contaminations of the water bodies such as the rivers, ocean, groundwater, lakes can be controlled by use of broad range of the implementable and a simple way. In the agriculture sector, sediment washed off the fields in the large source of agriculture pollution. Okay, then farmers may be reduce the run of flowers and run soil on their field by utilizing the erosion control method like the contour plotting. Industrial generated the ordinance. Domestic sewage can be treated by the multiple functions where the industries generate the watershed with the higher concentration of conservation pollution such as oil and gases. Toxic pollution like heavy metal pollution, organic components, or other non-conservation pollution such as aminos need a special treatment system. Some of the facilities can install what I say pre-treatment system to remove the toxic components, and this send the particular treat watershed to the manipulate system. In an urban area of a development countries, domestic sewage is a typical treat by the certainized sewage treatment plants. Okay, will design and operated system can be remove 90% or more of the polluted long in sewage. Some plants have an additional system to remove the nutrients and pathogens. So water efficiency of the water use of water management, it is most cost effective and immediate. Why it's conserve water efficiency means thinking about the why we used water. in a different forms of water conservation, because it focus on the reducing waste and non-reducing used. Thus, the water efficiency is reducing water wastages, measuring the amount of water required for a particular purpose and the amount of water used to deliver solution. For the water efficiency focus on only on reduction of the amount of the potable water used, but also on the reducing the use of non potable water. These appropriate, that is fishing, flushing the toilet and etc. Okay, then it also put the emphasis on the consumers whole small behavior changes can be reduce water wastage. Examples of water efficiency steps including the fixing lacking taps, taking showers rather than baths, installing the displacement devices inside the toilet crystals, using dash washed and washing machines with the full loaded. So these are the main things. Then sustainable of the water, sustainable sustainable use of water. Okay, sustainable use of water. So all the water is the largest number of resources, but only 3% of it is a fresh water. The reset of frozen in a glacier or a hidden to deep the underground. At present, the main water sources for the people all over the earth and unifies globally. With the increasing the income, the demand and the water intensive goods such as the manufacture means the dairy products have a rising, resulting into the massive street on a global freshwater resources. There is a depletion over the half, and the world largest aquifers which like determine with the growth of demand. So the water sustainability is defined as a continuous supply of the clean water for human use and of other living things. Sustainable water system should be provide adequate water quality and appropriate water quality of a given need, with the composing the further ability of provide the capability of quality. Water system in a spread is a sustainable development, not for including the use of water, but also system where the use of water has been traditional, been required, waterless toilet and waterless car wash are examples of the system, and use of water helps to reduce the water stress and structure of the sustainable water supply. The threefold goals like economic, feasible, social responsibilities and environmental integrate it in the link of the purpose of the water use. So the sustainable features in the water supply may be acknowledged. Something this purpose complete when the resources are limited. For example, when the need of to be meet the demands of the increasing urban population and those need of rural agriculture. So the water is used for following purpose. We use the water for the drinking and survival for necessary in a industrial operation, energy production, manufacturing goods, etc. Domestic application, cooking, cleaning, eating, bathing, sanitization, agriculture. So these are the water uses, use of water purposes. Sustainable water supply is an component of integrated water resources management. The practices of the being together multiple stakeholders with the various viewpoint in order to determine how the water should be best management. managed. In order to decide of a water system, the sustainable various economical, social and ecological consideration must be considered. Okay, the basic water sources and the sustainability. The basic water sources and how they may be sustainable and stated under, but a water supply system will be sustainable only it is a promotes efficiency in a both of supply and demand slides. So first is surface water. A is surface water. Surface water fresh water is very limited and distributed in the world. For example, almost 50% of the world lakes and located in Canada along. Moreover, the water pollution has been less in a drinking quality of surface water. So treatment system must be put in a place. Structures such as the demands may be used to impound the water to consumption. In a proper design and constructed dams can be provide a sustainable water supply, may be used for power generation, water supply, irrigation, food prevention, water diversion and navigation, etc. Then after groundwater. Groundwater according for the generation than 50% of the global fresh water. It is a very critical for the potable water. So it can be sustained water supply sources if the total amount of water eating, living and brings to stored in a system is covered. So rainwater harvesting that we have seen in a last lecture. Even though rainwater is a precipitations has been inherent barriers of a risk of a over exploration founded in a surface and the groundwater sources. Thus the cooling water for the precipitation directly provide the drinking water quality. Nevertheless, rainwater harvesting system must be properly designed by the maintaining in the order to collect the water efficient, prevent the contaminations and use of sustainable treatment system in a case of water containment. So reclaimed water or a water cycle, water recycle from human use can be used a sustainable source of water supply. It is an important solution to reduce the stress on the primary water resources such as the surface and groundwater. Then desalinization has been potential to provide an adequate water quality to those regions that the fresh water poor, including the small island state. Then the bottled water. Usually the private companies provide the portable water in a bottle for the cost of rupees cost. It is in a 21st century phenomena. In the some area, bottles water is the only reliable sources for the surface drinking water. Then the water industries. Almost every industry use water, and industries water withdrawal represent 22% of a total global water use. Industries release the organic water pollutions, have made solution toxics and other wastage into the water sources. Thus the every industry have a due responsible for the internal sustainable water supply and the production of the external water supply sources. Okay. Then the water and agriculture. So the agriculture use the roughly 70% of the water withdrawal worldwide, also responsible for the sum of the surface groundwater degradation because of the runoff, chemical erosion best. Hence it is a due to role of sustainable water supply. So first is using of water, efficiency of irrigation, and second is protecting surface groundwater supply sources. These are the two. First is water efficiency for irrigation and second is protecting surface of the groundwater supply. So the domestic water used. The average household needs among 20 to 50 liters of water per person per day. Water use may be reduced by the waterless toilet, water efficiency application, water quality monitoring. These measures may be act as important parts of sustainability for the domestic water supply. So the next one is environment portable associated with the mining. So these are the now we are going to move to mining. So we see the water pollution in a natural resources and all the elements related to water as a resources. We see all the its pH up to pH 2. These one points. Now the next point is environmental problems associated with the mining. So mining is one of the important natural resources that plays a pivotal role in economic development of any country. No matter how important it is, the role of extraction and mining of these natural resources lead to some adverse effect on the environment, as well as these are the different phases of a mining project, and each phase of the mining is associated with the different sets of environmental impact. The adverse effect of mining on the environmental are stated under. First is air pollution. A simple mining means the air pollution. The means the need to blast through a rock to get an ore. In a process there is an emission of the dust, suspended particular and gases with the leads to the air pollution. In the coal minings method, the solid gases release. This contributes to environmental issues. Then next one is contamination of the surface water. Releases the harmful trace element, that is the organ, that is CO, carbon, PB, CD, etc. leads the contaminations of the surface water, split into oceans and lake, added the toxic heavy material, mental and sulfuric acid into the environment. There is contamination of the underground water. Underground water is contaminated due to seepage and infiltrations of the leach and drainage. Effect on the soil quality. Effect on the soil quality. Mining leads the degradation of the soil quality, fertility, and makes it the toxic. Okay. Then effects on the natural vegetation. Natural vegetation also get the harmful effect by the chemical discharge from the means. Then after the deforestation. The major consequences of mining are the deforestation, which result is loss of flora and fauna. Then effect of ecosystem. Effect of ecosystem. The different types of minings directly affect many different types of ecosystem. For example, what we say deep sea mining eliminate the rare and potential value organization. Hence many species are killed due to toxicity of the water and soil of loss of habitats. So next is wastage of the land. Wastage of the land. Mining is not a sustainable industry's use of the agriculture purpose. Thus, there is a wastage of land, loss of landscape, meaning direct result to loss of the landscape, beauty of the surrounding. So, lead to erosion. Mining activities also may lead to erosion which damage or bad bed for the lands. It destroys the river banks and changes how the river flows, where it flows, where lives in the it is an extra. So effects to urbanization environment. In the urbanization environment, minings may be general noise pollution, dust pollution and visual pollution. Conservation of mining. Conservation of mining, that the conservation of mining is a efforts by the which our society may be ensure the maximum presence and further benefits for the use of them. Due to imperial of the exercise use the minerals and one of the verge of exhaustion in a certain region. Therefore, the conservation of the mining is very much required. But conservation of the minerals is a greatest and serious problem because there are exhibitions and non-renewable for the measures of necessary for the conservation of the minerals. That is a minerals can be conserved by bringing a efficiency in mining technology as well as the technology of beneficifications. Then the residual by the recycle of the mining is an other way to conserve the clinical minerals such as the iron, aluminium, copper, tin, brass, etc. may be recycled. Okay. Then what we say then such mineral can be saved by sustaining them by those minerals which can be chaptered and found it control population growth to reduce the damage of mineral for the minerals and methods can be help the reducing wastages. Okay, we have to reduce the wastages. Creating the social awareness regarding the conservation of minerals will also help the conservation. Then after use of an acceptance to the minerals which is not essential must be avoided. Use of improve and modern technology plays an important roles in the conserving of the mineral because it's allow the use of low grade minerals at a low cost. Use of the scrap material is another. Sustainable of the minerals. Okay, then we have the aims and we have the aims and providing the such features of the generation to come. Thus the sustainable use of minerals is considered as a need to our okay. So in this way we can sustain the minerals. So these are the main concept, and then the next concept of biodiversity. Concept of biodiversity. Our ecosystem provides us with the food, medicine, clean area and water, recreations and spiritual. So inspiration, hence the human spatial cannot be exist without it. And surrounding ecosystem biodiversity is a sum of all different species of animal, planets, fungi, microorganism living on the earth and variety of the habitats in which they are lived. Okay, the concept biodiversity is an contracted from the biological diversity, that means the variability amongst the living organization from the sources including inter alia, translic and other aquatic ecosystem. These also including the ecological complex of which they are the parts as well as the diversity with the spatial between the spatial and ecosystem. The scientists estimated that the more than 10 million direct different spatial inhabitants to Earth. The biodiversity being the broad terms may be measured at the number of organization level. Traditional ecologists and have a measure biodiversity by talking into the account of both and the number of a spatial and number of the individual of each spatial. This is known as the relative abundance. On the other hand, biologists biologists use the different measures and biodiversity that include the genetic diversity is to preserve the biological and technological importance elements of biodiversity. So biodiversity losses reflect and reduce the biodiversity due to displacement of existing sites, the loss of particular individual spatial and spatial if the non what I say correct spatial like Bengal tigers maybe appears in the uni importance to same people. However, the current acclimates existing the rate measures and loss of the thousands of especially with our limitation. So these are the concept of biodiversity. Then the biodiversity benefits of biodiversity. The following are the some benefits of biodiversity. These are the some benefit. The provision services such as food chain, water, timber, fiber and genetic reason. Then the second is regulating service such as the climate, floods, disaster, water quality and pollution. Third one is cultural services such as recreational and it's a benefit. And next is supporting the services such as the soil formation and nuclear cycling. Then the types of biodiversity. So the types of biodiversity include the three main types: diversity with the spatial and genetic diversity. This is the first. Second one is between the spatial or a spatial diversity, and third one is between the ecosystem and ecosystem diversity. So these are the three. And then the genetic diversity. Okay, the genetic diversity means the total number of genetic characteristics on the genetic makeup of a spatial. Every spatial on the earth related to everyone, a spatial through the genetic connection. Each individual spatial process genes which are the source of our unique features. Thereof, the more closely related any other two spatial area, then the more genetic information that they will be shared and more similar they will be appeared. For example, in human beings, the huge variety of the people face reflects each person's genetic individual, while all spatial have a decided from the single common ancestor, and spatial diverges develop their own particular attributes with the time, thus the making of own contribution to the diversity. One is two research reasons for the difference between the individual organism area. One is the variation of a general which all the organism process and pass from one to it is a offspring. And second is B, influencing the environment and each individual organization. Then next one is the spatial diversity. Okay, the diversity of the creating roaming in earth is absolutely astonishing. A spatial diversity is a different as a number of spatial and absence in of each spatial living with the particular habits or a region. A spatial and basically unit of biological classification. Hence are the normal measures of biochemical diversity. The number of different species in a given area is called as a spatial. So when we measure the spatial richness of the forest, we will find a 20%, 20 bird spatial, 50 plant spatial, and 10 means spatial. A spatial, it means it's another terms to use the measures biodiversity. But why the assuring the magnitude of a difference between the spatial? So next one is ecological diversity. Ecological diversity refers to the number of species in a community of organism and the dynamic interplays between them. So it is a variation of the ecosystem found in the regions on the variation of the ecosystem over the whole planets, and ecosystem consists the organism of the many different species living together in regions, which is the connection through the flowers or energy, okay, nutrition and matter. Those connection occurs the organism or a different species interact with our another measuring ecological diversity. It is a difference between each and all earth ecosystem merge into the ecosystem around it. Then the last one is the hotspot of the biodiversity. There is a place on the earth that is a biological rich but deeply threatened, so we must take some efforts to protect them. Hotspot of the biodiversity as a large region to contain the exceptions and concentrations of the plant endemism and experience high rates of the habitat loss. By the method biodiversity hotspot, those regions of the world are identified where the attention is need to address the biodiversity loss. It is also guide to investment and conservation. The idea was first developed by the Normal Mies in 1988 to identify the tropical forest, that is a hotspots characterized both of the expansion leaves on the planet's endemism and serious habits loss. To track this crisis, we must protect those places where the biodiversity live in the observation with the spatial and uneven distribution around the planets. Certain area have a large number of endemic spatial which are not found anywhere else. Many of these are heavily treated by the habits of loss and other human activities. Thus area are biodiversity hotspot. Currently 35 biodiversity hotspots have been identified. Most of our occurs or tropical forests represent just 2.3% of the earth land surface. Among these, they are contain around 50% of the world endemic plants, spatial 42% of all the variations. Now we will see the biodiversity in India with emphasis on the Western Ghat, flora and fauna with the Western Ghat. Here in India, in the 12 mega biodiversity centers of the world, then the country of the divided into 10 biographical regions such as the Trade Himalaya, Indian desert, semi-arid zone, Western Ghat, Deccan Peninsular, Gangetic Plains, Northeast India, Iceland and coast. Listen, India, it is one of the 12 mega biodiversity centers in the world. So here are the 10s, that is Trans Himalaya, Indian desert, semi-air zone, Western Ghat, Deccan Peninsular, Gangetic Plains, Northeast India, Iceland, and coast. The hill climb of the Western Ghats consists of the Malabar province. It is runs the peninsula to the western coast of India. Biographically, the Western Ghats represent 4% of the Indian land region that experience the high torrential rainfall as well as the monsoon and the tropical chemical high variation in the wind speed. So all these features have making the region as on the 10 biographical zones in India. The Western Ghats is considered to be one of the amongst the hotspot in the world. Okay, but it is constantly facing several threats, become nearly 40% of the total number of special endemic in the 17,000 square kilometer strips of a forest along the seaward side of the Western Ghats in Maharashtra, Goa, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu and Kerala. There are 15,000 plant special with the 5 endemic 30%, 4,050 plants with 1,600 endemic, that is a 40%. The rainforest of the Western Ghats exists an environment where the considered seasonable and distribution of the rainfall. The higher altitude zone also gives the rise to kind of forest which is primarily vegetation. Moreover, the parts rocks of the areas have given the rise of soils which are reaching the have a very high moisture holding the capacity. All these elements have given rise to tropical rainforest in the Western Ghats, which is diversities vegetation types. Vegetation such as a wet average, dry evergrage, moisture evergrage. So these are the. So the next we have to going to see the flora and fauna on a Western Ghats. The area has an estimated 3 lakhs hectare, mean 37% under the forest cover in a characteristic by the rich diversity of flora and fauna. The flowering plants, the 7,402 special for flowering planets are the known as the Western Ghats. Recent studies have suggested the 3 clouds beyond 2,300 special for flowering planets endemic to the Western Ghats. Amphibians over 170 special belongings, 21 general record in the forest and coast area of region, which is 76% of the endemic to the region. Invertebrates, a large variety of increasing, including some of the special culture butterflies and butterflies and any others evergreen higher lower forest. It is estimated in India has over 1,400 special for the Western Ghats. Harbor nearly 302 species including 37 endemic and 23 other shares with the Sri Lanka, and the area is a host to a large variety of the freshwater miscellaneous, some of which are special to the region. Then the fish. There is a wide variety of the fish available from the freshwater mountains, lower land, river stream, water bodies as well as coastal lagunas and backwaters. Around 218 species of the primary and secondary freshwater fish in the Western Ghats are found about 53% of a fresh species. Okay, in the Western Ghats of endemic 16 out of 20 a special known as Indian Ocean as a Western Ghat, all 16 being endemic. Reptiles 157 a species of reptiles are found in Western Ghat. Majority of the reptiles species are snakes, desert forest of the region, and the home of the king cobra and a rock python. Apart from the small reptiles in the in all a special representing 37 generates and the endemic amongst the tortoise and endemic can be treated found in Western Ghat. The marsh crocodiles and muggers watch widely distributed in swamps and large water bodies of the forest area, and the birds. So about 508 special birds occurs in the Western Ghats, 519 if the subspecial and including. Among the 144 area acquired the coast breeds, 19 special area consists to the endemic to the Western Ghats. Maybe endemic birds are exclusive, evergreen and showflost. Mammals, 120 special and mammals are report from the Western Ghats of which 14 are considered to be endemics to the Western Ghat. Okay, and last the summary. We use a variety of the material divided from the environment. Nature has given the abundant resources in the form of water, air, soil, wild animal, fossil features, etc. The man, by his technical skill and knowledge, using the resources from the dawn of civilization. Resources is the ability to perform the work of satisfactory the needs of wants to human being. The resource can be classified on the basis of their nature, the deliberating ownership and distribution pattern. All the resources are divided from the environment, maybe natural resources and is essential of a human survival, which others are the use of satisfying human desires. Conservations of the protections importance and important as a natural resource to provide the great social and economical value to the present failure. Sustainable development is a development of the meets the needs of present without compressing this ability of a further generation to meet their own needs. On September 25, 15, countries adopt a seat of global to end poverty, the product of planets, and ensure the prosperity for all the parts of new sustainable development agenda. Each global have a specific targets to be achieved over the next 15 years. For the goals to be and reach, everyone needs to be the part, governments and the private sector, civil society and the people. So thank you very much. Now we will meet for your second lesson.